What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from Zoom again, and this time we are here with Alyse and Oscar of Lilac. It is great to be able to talk with both of you. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course, of course. It's so awesome to have you here with Into Nothing out now, and you will already have like a fairly impressive list of basically music altogether with Into Nothing out, as well as the Perfect Drug EP and whatnot. Are you planning to sort of like stick with the formula that we heard on Into Nothing, or are you going to experiment a lot more in the future, being that you already have an eclectic sound?
Ah,
Okay.
well, I mean, right now we're actually in Vegas. We're recording with Kane Churko, and like the Churkos are famous for recording, writing and recording with like Disturbed and Ozzy Osbourne, and In This Moment, like they wrote In This Moment, Blood, lots of Five Finger Death Punch, albums, and so like right now we are writing and recording with Kane Churko for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So like already just from this first week, we're like really expanding. Like it's absolutely insane. Like the stuff that is coming, I guess, together is just a new level for us for sure.
Yeah, and Kane is super big into leaning into who we are as a band with our mix of electronic and hip hop and rock influences. So having that space to explore that with him and hear his advice and input and collaborating together is going amazing so far. So it's incredible.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Camp has a lot of like really unique sounds. So if you listen to Into Nothing, like we've always kind of experimented with like weird whispers here or like reversing a weird sound there or clicky sound. He'll change. He tries to make new futuristic sounds, right? And sometimes we have to dial him back, like, okay, don't create a new song for 3 years from now, create a song for like 9 months from now, let's so a lot of times he's just so out there and so weird. But I love that Kane is just like, this is unique, this is different, and he's like already talking to Cam about like, I want to do like side projects with you, like this is insane.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing.
That's pretty awesome as well. And with the Perfect Drug EP out, I've always said like EPs are like a side quest if you're using video game references or a preview of some sort. So is that at all maybe a good taste of what is to come from Lilac in the future? Or was the EP more trial and error and you feel like with what you're working on now, you sort of like to find what Lilac is all about?
No, I think the EP for sure was a good example of what we bring to the table. We worked with Mike Plotnikoff at Howard Benson Studios out in LA, and we spent a lot of time working with him. And the amazing thing about working with Mike and Joe Ricard was that they kind of let us explore who we are and just bring everything we have to the table and just ensure that we got the best takes of everything and just pushed us to really have that perfection of our sound and what we wanted to bring to the table. So no, I would say the Perfect Drug EP was a great example of how we're going to continue to explore further and honestly push that past its boundaries and not just a little experiment. I think that's a big statement on what we're passionate about.
Yeah, I think when we first wrote Perfect Drug, we created a box, right? That like I've always loved Linkin Park, but I wanted to create like maybe if Linkin Park and Bring Me the Horizon had a baby, but add like a female singer and add some like more like really modern catchy choruses, like almost like pop choruses almost. And so what would that sound like? And so we were writing a lot in like with those kind of ideas in mind. But I think now we know our sound, we know what we can do. We know Oscar's talent, we know my vocal range, and we also explored like Kenny more. There's some songs that you haven't heard. Earlier this year, we went back to West Valley Studios, and we recorded 3 more songs with Mike Plotnikoff to be like in between singles that we'll release like while we're here with Kane. But our manager ended up liking it so much that he's just like, okay, we're gonna sit on these, and then with the Kane songs too, then maybe we'll do some record label shopping and stuff, just because like it's insane. But hopefully I'm gonna be able to talk him into like doing another release with our upcoming tour. We have a tour coming up in October, and ideally I'd like to release another song with that. I'll try to talk.
Trying to convince him is the key, right?
Fair enough. Fair enough. And Mike Plotnikoff, who worked with My Chemical Romance too, so that's an awesome person to have worked with in the past as well. And
yeah, they're insane. They've worked with Hailstorm, yeah, My Chemical Romance, Seether. I mean, 3 Days Grace. I mean, so many big bands. So like, I think we just from the gate, we wanted to come out fist swinging, you know, and use quality recordings and just like show people, like smack them in the face, like who the hell is Lilac and where did they come from, you know, because we're starting with high quality music, like with like some of the biggest producers in rock music, and then we're also like, you know, doing our music videos with Scott Hansen of Digital Thunderdome, who's done music videos for like We Came as Romans and Ice Nine Kills and so many amazing bands that we listen to.
Yeah, I felt. Oh, please.
I was just gonna say, like, even on this last trip with those last 3 songs, we got to work with Tyler from Theory of a Dead Man. So we were collaborating on everything. So we really got to juice Mike Plotnikoff's like expertise and connections for everything, and it was an awesome experience.
And I've heard the references to Linkin Park and Bring Me the Horizon, which I definitely see and reference, but like as well with like, I feel like with the vocal collaborations between you two, I see elements of Lacuna Coil or even Evanescence around that regard as well. Is it fair to say, because you two have very different vocal styles, because when you compare Undertow to Broken Promises to a track like Into Nothing, like it really seems like that there's a lot of different forms of experimentation and a lot of different influences that are incorporated in there. So it's fair to say that everybody in the band has different inspirations for how they cultivate their craft, right?
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. And
you can talk about your influences.
Yeah. I mean, I've been influenced with everything from like Rage Against the Machine, Linkin Park, you know, Deftones, and then Eminem, J. Cole, like Kendrick Lamar, like so many more you know, straight rap influences, you know, that I came from a big rock background. So to be able to explore like this new electronic twist on it as well, and getting to work with Alyse, who's such a strong singer, like that's kind of, I think I see what you're saying about like the experimentation in the different songs and how we've tried to balance out the EP as well, of, you know, someone will shine here, someone will shine there, and then we really try to just like bring it all together and just like intertwine it, going back and forth in some songs. And I think especially being out here with Kane Churka, we're really like leaning into that a lot more, and like just expanding on that entirely into like how we're interconnecting our abilities to be able to, you know, balance everything out and make it sound ridiculous.
Yeah, like in like my influences, I think growing up I've always resonated with like artists that write from pain. I don't know what it is. I went through a lot when I was growing up, and I think just like people who like sang with their soul, or like you felt like they were like, those lyrics hurt, you know, and I loved that kind of stuff growing up. So I remember just like singing at the top of my lungs and just like trying to learn how to like sing with pain and sing with emotion and feel the lyrics instead of just sing them. And so I listened to a lot of like not just like blues and stuff, but also like Chris Cornell and just like the singers that it provided, like you're challenged when you sing along with them, you know, and I love that kind of stuff. So I think it would be fun for us to write music that like they feel our music and they feel like they relate to our lyrics, you know. It's not just like a hit song, you know, like I want them to relate to it, but also like if I can challenge my vocals a little bit, then that's fun too, you know.
Fair enough. Well, being that both of you contribute vocals, because you have different styles without a doubt, like you know, I can tell who's singing over what, obviously, but
yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Well, hey, there's some bands with 2 singers where they harmonize together, and then there's some bands with 2 singers where they have different distinct elements. So when it comes to the lyrical sense of what you're singing about, do both of you kind of need to be on the same page emotionally or be in the same headspace, or being that your vocal styles are so different, you both are better off in your own worlds when collaborating together?
So I think we've tried it both ways, right? You know, coming to this project from our particular backgrounds, Alyse has been in bands and over the years. I've been in different bands over the years. And so learning how to collaborate those different styles at first was, like a bumpy road. But once we started to figure out really feeling the music and learning what our perspectives were going to be for each song, we like Alyse was saying, we tell our stories to connect with people. So I think being able to bring each of our own perspectives, but with the in the same vein and the same energy for each of the songs, has helped us create different things that people can connect to in those lyrics.
I also think so. Here's the thing, like, with Linkin Park, you don't just like assume that because they're singing together that they date.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't just assume Mike Shinoda and Chester Bennington, man, they must be, really in love, but I think with us, a lot of people assume that we're dating, and we're not. We are not together. So we need to be able to, I guess, tell the same story from two different voices without people thinking that we're duetting with each other in the romantic way, And so I think, at first, like, we would like listen to the instrumental, hear how it made us feel. Like, do we feel sad? Do we feel angry? Do we feel empowered? And then what concepts come to mind within that feeling? And then he would talk about a story where he felt empowered, or I'll tell a story where I feel empowered. Okay. And so, like, let's like dive into that, where like you're writing your verses, or I'll we'll both kind of hit a same verse, or we'll both hit, like, we're working together like on pre-choruses and stuff now. And I think it's better that way, because then we can tweak each other, or we can take some of his and take some of mine and kind of combine them. Whereas before, if we just like went in separate rooms, sometimes we would come up with different concepts, and then it was more like okay, which one do we like better? And obviously everybody's gonna love their own baby, so like you need a third person to vote now,
Yeah. And we really learned that kind of pulling our egos out of the situation, and understanding that this is a collaborative process, and we're really just working on making sure that the final product is the best it can be, aside from who can do what, or who can be technically, lyrically, whatever. Like, the ultimate project, that's going to be reaching audiences, has to be the best it itself can be and live on for. So once we pulled our egos out of that, it goes a little smoother. Yeah.
Does a lyrical idea help maybe dictate the direction of the music as well, or do you both prefer to have music already present before lyrics come into play?
So, right now, how Lilac writes instrumentals is Cam comes up with like a skeleton, like, instrumental. And he might have like the other band members like tweak a little guitar here, tweak a little bass there, tweak a little bit of the drum fills, But Cam is like the mastermind behind a lot of like the weird sounds and the skeleton instrumentals of our songs. And so we've come to like the producers with full demos, like of at least the instrumental, if not, with lyric ideas on top of that. But yeah, we'll just listen to Cam's instrumentals and we write lyrics to that. I have sent Cam vocal melodies that come into my head, just like when I'm in the bathroom or something, like, I'll drive or something, and I'll hear a vocal melody. But we haven't really explored building a song around my vocal melodies yet. Like, it's mostly just been demos so far of Cam writing the instrumental and us expanding that instrumental.
And Cam is so passionate and talented in the way he puts emotion and feeling into his tracks, that honestly we'll sit down and just listen to it for like 20 minutes with our eyes closed, just like feeling out the songs. And we'll just vibrate off the emotion and just start brainstorming from there as to like what particular thing we may be going through or have gone through that we resonate with in the music.
Yeah. Like Into Nothing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please. What were you saying?
Yeah, so like let's take Into Nothing, for example. Into Nothing had this this feeling, like for some reason when I listened to it, I felt like, what if the people that feel very, very numb, like they yearn to feel alive, but I don't know, they've either gotten burned or hurt or something happened where now they just feel very numb. And I wanted it to be like, where those people, they tend to search for like dangerous thrills or something to feel something, or anything to feel alive again. And so we kind of took that and piggybacked into like the concept of the music video, where like, well, what if there's like this like underground like wicked like circus that does provides these dangerous games of life or death, you know? And like they might pull off a dead body off of the game or whatever, and then just say, come on, step on up, you know, next player. And so like those people, you know, you'll go worse and worse and worse, and that high is not lasting anymore. So how do you know when you've gone too far? You know, is it when you're laying in a ditch somewhere taking your last breath? Like how do you know when you've gone so far? Because that song, that the instrumental, it took us for a ride. Like the bridge is just such an insane, like out of this world bridge. I wanted to feel like I'm going too far and I'm not come back from this, you know? And yeah.
I mean, is it better, like, because when it comes to singing together, when it comes to coming up with these lyrical ideas or melodic ideas, is it better if you're in the company of each other when writing, or isolation being such a great fuel for creativity, you tend to rely on that more?
Yeah, we need to be together.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to be completely different.
And we've tried that. You know, we've been like, you know, let's each get in our own headspace, completely separate from each other, and see what we come up with. And it doesn't meld as well. Or we come up with completely different ideas, or we come up with competing ideas. And, you know, obviously working separately, the ego starts to come more into a little playing like, well, you know, this part doesn't sound like that at all, really. So if I rap over it, you know, it'll be 100 million times better.
Yeah.
And so go ahead.
Yeah. And I'm just like, you can't rap the like verses, the choruses, and the bridge, like everything, you know. But like so like but coming together, like it's way more collaborative. Like the concepts are collaborative. The verses are collaborative. Like the rap parts we collaborate on, the singing parts we collaborate on. Everything feels like one voice.
Yeah.
Because when we're one band, like you don't want it to sound like a hodgepodge of like, now I'm not connecting with the music because something sounds off. It sounds like two different writers writing in a different, like, it's like, you know, if you turn the page in a book and it sounds like a completely different writer that writes in a different way, something's off. Like, even if they're still remaining in that storyline, it doesn't feel right, you know? And so we need to make sure that it sounds like one voice, even if it's a different singer.
Yeah. Well, how do you decide, though, who sings over what upon listening to the music? Is it almost kind of like do you have an instinct based off of the instrumentals that you hear?
Pretty much, yeah. Honestly, we really, like I said, we'll sit down and we'll feel out the song, honestly, just not even like with lyrical intent from the very beginning, just like pure emotion. And then before we even start writing lyrics, we're like, what do you hear in these parts? So, you know, whether it's a triangle that needs, or a square, or a circle, you know, that needs to go in the particular part of the song, we focus on trying to feel what's best fit for the song.
Yeah.
And then when we're working together and we're really coming to a project in the same headspace and starting together from the very beginning, it just kind of unfolds really naturally. Honestly, we find that, or at least I have found that when we work together, it's so smooth.
Yeah. Because there's a band I listen to, and I think the same team is working behind you guys as well. A band called Venues from Germany, where they kind of have a similar principle, except rather than the rapping vocals, there's aggressive growling vocals. So it's almost kind of like Lacuna Coil meets We Came as Romans. So to have that variety, I feel like to have those distinct vocal styles, do you almost feel like that the musicians and the instrumentals have to maybe also, like, do you feel like maybe they're playing a completely different style to accommodate to your vocal style?
Cam just shook his head yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, everyone's kind of in that same headspace, band-wise. Alyse has been incredible as a leader coming into this and putting a group of people together who are just interested in making the best product we can and the best project that we absolutely can.
Yeah.
So, you know, no one's looking to really just show off for the sake of showing off if it doesn't fit the part.
But
right?
but we do also have like a lot of players here. Like let's think about that, you know, because Cam also has like, so yes, we have a female vocal and we have a rapper. Okay, so you can play a lot with that. But then also like our bassist Kenny screams. So when I hear screaming vocals in my head, even though I don't scream, I mean, I will do loud noises, you know, but I don't scream, you know. And so like when I hear a scream, like, no, this is what the instrumental needs right here, you know. We'll have Kenny do it and it sounds amazing, you know. So like, at least we have that to play with. I don't think you've heard that yet. Like we did that in LA this last run in the last 3 songs. But like I think with Into Nothing, you heard a little bit of the screams from Kenny, but you didn't hear him fully yet.
Okay, I'm excited. Lilac is going to be death metal or black metal for one song. I'd love to see that. Definitely.
One or two, you know, we'll vibe it out.
Hey, with bands becoming more and more genreless, with the rise of the Sleep Tokens and Bad Omens and whatnot, I'm willing to expect anything at this point. So.
I love that though, you know, like we don't have to follow a stereotype, you know. And I feel like what we've noticed as well is that there's a lot of gatekeepers like that have the old mindsets, you know, like that. Yeah, exactly. Like so like they'll listen to one of our songs or something and immediately the first thing they hear is maybe they hear a rap or something like that, and they're just like, this isn't a rock song. Like they won't get to the chorus or something like that. So we'll have to make sure that we cater some of our songs to like start off with my vocal and then it can go to a rap, you know? Like why? Like this song can be like awesome. It can be beautiful. It can be genreless and we can just be ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And like, once you see our show like live too, like we're headbanging, we're climbing light towers, playing wireless keyboards at the top of the towers. Like we are so energetic on stage. It's absolutely absurd. Like, and so like people will come to our shows and be like, holy shit, that was like the very metal. Like I did not expect your show to be like this. Like, because like, so like it's pretty evident we're a rock band, you know, and that we can rock hard, you know. So, but it's just like, why we shouldn't have to convince old gatekeepers with old thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even pay any attention to them because they tend to not even go to any shows at all, even like with whatever band they classify as real metal. So I don't even pay them any mind. Like, and on this channel as well, like, I mean, there's like right next to you guys on the list of YouTube videos is going to be Pro Fanatica. They're like a Black Death as the sound of sheer misanthropy and the sound of sheer despair. So I think in the end, there is no genres in this. I mean, I know plenty of people who are going to listen to you guys and look at you like you're Burzum or Emperor, but like, you know, and then so the level of heaviness is subjective at this point. But going to your live show that you mentioned, is there like a similar energy that's channeled into your live presence as there is with songwriting, and is that like type of stage presence really something that could be rehearsed or practiced?
Oh yes, absolutely. So we rehearse the entire movement on stage from beginning to end. I mean, everything is choreographed. Alyse and I
not fully choreographed,
pretty close to like Alyse and I have moves where we'll play off each other on stage. You know, constant interaction with everyone in the band, with the crowd, and movements in particular songs, and it starts to get really organized.
Yeah, so like we're very aggressive toward each other. You know what I'm saying? So like obviously we're gonna improv how we push each other and stuff, but there's sometimes where like I'll push him, he'll push me back, you know, and then I kind of like do like a jump spin thing, you know, like away from him, like whatever, you know. But there's like also a point in time where I'm almost like throwing like a fist, but it's with my mic like over his head, kind of like it's fun. Yeah,
it sounds like Dillinger Escape Plan almost, or like any of those hardcore shows.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
I think part of it is just that like we enjoy performing so much, like we're gluttons for attention apparently. And you know, we just like having fun on stage and being able to sweat our ass off for like 30, 45 minutes and just get the crowd really into it. And I think once we are really active on stage and get to see the audience start to get more active with us and like throw down with us, that like amps us up even more. Like, okay, like let's really get going.
But it's also not just us. Like Cam, our keyboardist, is the one who writes all the instrumentals. He'll lift his keyboard above his head. Like that's a heavy keyboard. Like that's on, like he lifts it above his head, and like he's like we're headbanging. He's moving his keyboard. He made the keyboard like kind of move with him. So he's like going crazy. So every person you look at, it's just like, I have no idea. Like everybody has their own energy and own like way to just like kill it right now. Like Sketty's he's always jumping and spinning all the time, and like Kenny, he's just like this aggressive bear that's like screaming in your face and like headbanging, really like he's just a presence. Kenny is actually Scott Hansen's favorite. Like Scott Hansen's recorded a lot of music videos for so many famous bands, like we mentioned before, and he told us multiple times that Kenny is his favorite headbanger. Like just like the way headbangs. So
I mean, I envy all of your I envy all of your individual talents, but I don't envy your guitar. I don't envy any of your techs or any of your chiropractors. So
I would not. There's a lot of back issues, neck issues now.
I wonder why. And the final question I wanted to ask you is this: for the inspiration, whether it would be for the music or the lyricism or even for the inspiration to go on stage, does the inspiration tend to strike out of the blue sometimes in a way, or do you seek out the inspiration and go out looking for it in a way?
Interesting. So just like live in the show, like when you're feeling it?
Yeah.
Or for writing the music?
For both. Okay.
So live, yeah, like we'll like, there's some moves where like, oh yeah, I can see myself like getting the crowd like clapping right here, or like like there's a place where like there's a place where he like fake like slaps me down, and like I like fall to my knees, and I like he like grabs my hand and throws me, and like I'm singing to the crowd and I come back up or whatever. So like there's a lot of theatrics there, but that we've pre-planned. But like there's also places where you're just feeling it, and like I'll climb a light tower instead of Cam, or and I want to headbang while I'm swinging because I felt the motion of the air. I don't know what it is, but like you just
jump into the crowd for certain
times. Yeah, we'll jump in the crowd a lot. It's just, and that's all improv. That's just like we're feeling it, the energy of the crowd with them singing and them shouting and them dancing and jumping. It fuels us,
Yeah.
But like I think when it comes to like music writing, that pulls more from, I think, whatever the emotion we're hearing. Like we'll get a concept, or an idea, and then when have we ever felt in our life, like we'll come up with stories. I'll tell my story that feels like that, and Oscar will tell his story that feels like that, and so a lot of times we'll be very like vulnerable with each other. Like I've learned so much about this dude, and his life,
Does that make it? Oh, sorry, you were saying?
No. I was just gonna say we go through renditions of writing as well. Like there's version 1, 2, 3 through 10, and sometimes you just kind of have to like let it happen and write that much to find the like real inspiration, or you will even be in the process of writing something someplace where we thought we were writing from, and it ends up coming out something completely different just because of the sake that you're letting yourself write words out or say ideas that you may have not even wanted to say at first.
Yeah.
Does that make the songwriting process just as deteriorating as it can be rewarding and cathartic?
Yeah.
I mean, right now I think we're the most like exhausted we've ever been for a song, just because like I mean, like Oscar and I could bang out a song in a day, you know what I'm saying? Like I mean, I think I wrote Undertow, and like the chorus of Undertow and everything. I think I wrote the chorus of Undertow in like less than 15 minutes. Like it was just like came to me. It's like sometimes the music just speaks for itself. You hear the melody and it's done. That's it. We show the whole band and they're like, holy shit, that's catchy. You know what I'm saying? But then there's some songs where like we'll be like, that's catchy, but I think we could do better. And then you don't want to overanalyze it and then come back and be like, man, that original melody was like so much better. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, like with Kane, his process is like 1 week per song, you know, or more, but like, you know, he tries to write one song per week. And so every day we're just thinking of so many different melodies, so many different ways to tweak,
Stretching out
so
that
many
process.
ideas. And then if I sing this idea, he's like, yeah, that's cool. Let's change like just the end part of it. And then you might scrap the whole thing. Like, it's been long, but it's crazy. I think this is like the biggest hit we've ever written. Like, I'm really excited. Like, he's already compared it to like a rock version of Imagine Dragons kind of type hit, and he's also said like we're like the heavier rock version of the Black Eyed Peas. He's like, this is amazing. Like, so for Kane to be excited about it, I mean, I'm stoked.
Yeah. I mean, I can say, and I don't think it comes as a surprise, but I like you guys much better than the Black Eyed Peas. So,
Thank you.
yeah. So
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that Super Bowl halftime performance gave me a psychological complex. But anyway, so yeah, if you can make me dislike Slash for a minute, that's impressive. But
oh my God, that's insane.
Good.
I hope that where are you based out of?
New York.
Like, you should come from what? New York?
New York. Yeah.
We're still, we haven't gotten the routing dates for our upcoming tour yet, but it's with a really big headliner. Like, you know who it is. I'm not allowed to say it yet.
You're gonna tell me when I turn the recorder off. You're gonna tell me when I turn the recorder off.
Okay, do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I guarantee it's a band that you've heard. And so anyway, we're going on tour with them October and November, and I don't know the routing yet. But like, all of our previous national tours, like when we toured with Atreyu, when we toured with New Year's Day, they've all been like really West Coast and like to like Midwest, you know. But like, even the Atreyu went up to like, you know, even through Denver and down to like Texas. And I mean, it was all over the place, up to Chicago. It was everywhere. But we didn't play any East Coast. So I'm hoping that this tour, I'm hoping that it has some East Coast dates, because there's so many, like, we're from the East Coast and we have an East Coast following. And we like, I want to be able to play in New York again. Like, we haven't played there since our we had a record label like showcase show at the Mercury Lounge, but we haven't played there since. So like, I'd love to be able to add that like to the tour coming up.
Being an East Coast band, but being loyal to the West Coast, you even take the Tupac inspirations in there too, and I think that's
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But thank you guys so much for your music and for an awesome conversation today. I really appreciate it. Everybody, we are here with Lilac. Be sure to check out the Perfect Drug EP and check out Into Nothing. New stuff coming very soon. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.
See you soon.